On the video camera. Well, you'll just have to copy hers.
Come on in, you'll get your prizes.
This is the famous.
Okay, everybody back inside.
Prizes. This is the famous David and Soweta of National Report. Or is that Good Report?
David Brinkley.
I bet you heard that David Brinkley, huh?
He don't give up, does he?
And there is Donna, Jim and Nancy and Renee, obviously a little late for a rope pull. Teresa and her boyfriend, Happy, and Aunt Martha, Brooke and Lisa, Teddy and Courtney, and my cousin Chris, and I'm not sure about those people, and Aunt Mary, and that Mari, to Mari, and Uncle Chris. This is part of the Timberland. This is some corn on the 25th of June. There's Brooke trying to get away from the camera.
Ed's still flying, and in 9 years he retired.
There's Happy. She caught a fish in her ear.
You. And one for you. We didn't win. I know, but you got a sucker. You want the black one in there? Okay, thank you.
Hey, don't be picky.
A sucker for you, my dear.
Dude.
Okay.
A Mickey Mouse sucker. Okay, would you people please give us your full name, identification number, and how in the world you got associated with this wild group?
I'm Herb Richland, married to Alice Eshelman.
And I'm out. His wife.
More.
That's it. I'm Rose Eshelman.
And she's one of Chris She's one of Junior and Mary's kids, I think.
Well, I'm Jack Miller. I'm Jack Miller, and that's just my girlfriend, Rose. I'm her boyfriend.
Hi, I'm Chris Jr. This is my wife, Janet.
These are some radical charismatics, so if you need healing or you need an answer to prayer, filled with the Holy Ghost and power.
This was my husband's idea.
John Mary.
And I'm so proud of you spouses for winning.
She'll know she'll be stronger if it were.
And what we're going to, the spouses are in charge of this meeting tonight, and we're going to tell what we think of the Eshelmans, our first impressions, and where we are now, and so forth and so on. So to give you an idea, I'll start. When I met Mark Eshelman, he was the most gentleman-like boyfriend I ever had. But one night, I spent the night at his house, and his mother and daddy had a misunderstanding that turned into a pretty hot argument. And I thought, man, I'm getting out of this one. When I get married, I want to live happily ever after. But the next morning in the Little Mennonite church, he was sitting on the men's side. I was over on the ladies' side, and I looked over and I thought, too late, can't get out of this mess. I love that. So I married. And guess what? In the last 50 years, we had some misunderstandings. Really? And we had some and you know what I heard? They can be learning experiences. If you listen to the other guy when he's really angry, but take everything he says with a grain of salt, you can learn something. And it's a good relationship if you can Say what you think, share what you feel, and know you won't be kicked out the back door, and your spouse won't pack his bag and go out the front door and never come back. So if you have that kind of a relationship, hang in there. It gets better as the years roll by. Now, let me share this with about the Eshelman. Nearly every Eshelman I know is a perfectionist, and they're workaholics. And if you get in their way when they're working, they're awfully hard to get along with. They're really not very pleasant at all. So that's my opinion of the Eshelman. But I love y'all. Now, the next person that came into the Eshelman family as a spouse was David Vincent. David, what did you have to say about the Eshelman family?
I'm awfully glad I know.
Well, good. You don't have anything bad to say about them at all.
No. Hey, we all have our problems. If you learn how to work them out, it can be a joyous fun. And that's what you explained very well. So we all have it.
And you never had any misunderstandings?
I didn't say that.
I was just wondering how honest you were. Okay, Mary, bless your heart, you're next. Because you're the next to the oldest spouse in this here game. So, these kids will learn something if you're honest. So let it all hang out, Mary. I met...
It's just going to take a while.
Well, when you got up, I thought I got tired.
I met my husband when I was 15 years old. And I really liked him, and I thought, I'm going to marry him regardless of what. So they were Mennonite people. And I told my mom, if I have to wear a covering, I'm going to wear it and get married and take it off. So we went together 2 years and got married. We had 5 children, 11 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. And Monday we were married 45 years.
All right.
And I'm looking forward to 45 more years.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I think
She didn't tell us what she thought of us.
Don't ask.
Johnny, she asked for it. Tell her soon. I never tell her she did. To tell you the truth, when I first met the Eshelmans, I was scared to death. Because they were Mennonite and I wasn't. And I was scared how, if they're going to accept me and how I'm going to fit in this family. But they sang around the piano and I joined in and we had a good time. And I really love the Eshelmans and all of you too, because you're related to me. But I'm not going to say nothing bad about it.
Okay, I want you folks, you Eshelmans, to know that even if you are suckers, I love you all. Okay, we'll start with the oldest grandchild. Okay, Junior has something to say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was going to comment after what she said. I met her on a merry-go-round. I've been going around ever since.
We know that you Eshelmans too, but this is a spouse's night. And I think Nancy is the oldest grandchild. So, Mr. Jim, get up and share what you think of the Eshelman family.
It's been an experience. Now, let's make sure that all the folks know
Right.
who is speaking each time.
Okay.
Because
Yeah, who are you?
It's bad!
who is?
Well, anyway, I'm Jim Gohacky. I'm Nancy's husband. Or is she my wife?
Where is Nancy?
She's
Oh, okay.
this is sort of like her. She likes to get things documented. And, you know, the work thing was very good. I've learned how to live with that. Yeah, they're workaholics, sort of workaholics. They work hard, they're perfectionists. And as long as you can accept the fact that you got to do it their way, everything's fine.
It's the only way to do it.
Yeah, there are right ways. totally enjoyed I guess the 7 or 8 years that I've known the family, and each one is an individual, and I wouldn't trade this family for anything.
Documented forever.
I get the message.
Brother Larry, are you older than Bonnie, or is Bonnie older than, well, her spouse is here, so he can't say
I'm
that.
not married anyway, so you can't say nothing.
Without the Eshel, because he was with us one whole evening. He had money, y'all. Stand up, John. You're one of the crowd.
Well, I've been rose for 7 years, and every once in a while we have our problems too, you know, like everybody does. And every time I'm with the Eshelmans, we always have a good time together. So I join them.
Okay, you got a vote.
Yeah, you're next.
Well, I agree with the grain of salt, and I agree with the gentleman part, and the workaholic, and also Chris knows how to do everything, and he tells me how I didn't do it right. And he tells me how the kids didn't do it right. They're wonderful Eshelmans, and when they're grandkids, look what you've done. Somehow I am the fault of every problem, and he is the good of all the good. But, you know, I do this for better or worse, and I believe it keeps getting better.
That's right. Okay, Brian, let's hear what you think of this Eshelman tribe. How many years were you folks married?
His name's not Brian.
Brent.
Carl.
Well, he don't live next door to me, so forgive me.
The first thing you say, would you let it be your name so I'll remember?
And
I'm Herb, Alice's husband, and I love being around her family and stuff. They're fun-loving, and it's just something that I enjoy, that I really didn't have at home, a whole lot of that, but I really enjoy them.
Okay, now, let's see. I'm Lisa. It's your turn. Get over here so you folks can all see and hear you.
I'm Lisa Eshelman. I'm Ted's wife. And I've enjoyed the family a lot. They're a good group of people, and they all take time to get to know you and make friends with you. And they're very close-knit group. I've avoided some of the real serious talks they have, just, Margaret saying that last night. But I've tried to attempt a few. They like to know your whole bloodline, your life history. How do you feel about everything? It takes a little getting used to. They are workaholics, and I'm glad to know that it's not just my husband, but that it's everybody. And I learned to live with it. That's just fine, I mean, I love them home, but I love them. I'm used to being working. That's it.
By the way, Lisa and Ted and their children live in Charleston, South Carolina.
Okay.
Justin's wife. We've been married for almost a year and a half. We live in Columbia, South Carolina. And I would have to say that being an Eshelman is entertaining. It's a challenge at times, and I know that you'll always find that Justin is not perfect. And I know that's a big shock to everybody. Justin and my first date kind of gives you an idea about how things have gone. For me, everything's kind of a surprise, because after having known him for a couple of years, he finally asked me out, and he came to the door in flip-flops and blue jeans, so I was real impressed right away. He took me to an Italian restaurant and ordered fish. We went to a movie, and we went to get gas and that kind of thing, so it was not what you would think would be, an optimal, I guess, date. But things that really brought out the good things about Justin was in the movie. He put paper in his ears so the movie wasn't too loud for him to give him when he's hearing. He asked me out again to go out on a second date, but the way he did it was real unusual because a friend of his had won tickets to Six Flags over Georgia, and he had already asked somebody else to go, and he asked me to be a first alternate in case the other girl.
And you went?
I haven't regretted it.
They must be a little vain too.
Actually, Lisa, she and the other girl went, but he stayed home.
That's what I'd say. Honey, give me the ticket.
But it's been fun. I never quite know from day to day exactly what's going to happen, and that makes life fun. He is a delight, and the family is a delight, and I have enjoyed my association with all of them.
Thank you very much. Okay. I feel like we need to let you Eshelman defend yourself now. So, Maurice Eshelman, you tell how hard that was to adjust to a product. Speak up and be honest.
Okay, you've had enough time, soon.
Well, since some of you have shared how they met their spouses, some of even in my own family may not know, in our immediate family may not know how I met this lady. I was in the chicken business, dressing chickens when I was 17 years old. I helped to sell some chickens that Daddy had and couldn't sell, and just started dressing them and taking them to Philadelphia. And so I couldn't date like most of the other Mennonite guys did on Saturday nights because I was in Philadelphia's market. And so a very close friend of mine, some of you know him, John Grable, was a very close friend of mine. And one Sunday morning in church, he leaned over to me and he said, "Marsh, you should have been with us last night." He said, "You ought to met those girls we had. They were racing and they wouldn't let us get ahead of them." And I thought, boy, that sounds interesting. And I had no idea who these girls were. And about a couple months later, we went to Chestnut Street, where back in those days, the girls sit on one side and the boys on the other, men on the other. And when the church is over, the girls all conjugated a big crowd of over on the left side, and the boys and the men over on the right side, outside the church door. Some of you know what I'm talking about. And so we were, John Grable and I were there on Sunday night. And all of a sudden, John said to me, he said, "Over there's that girl we were racing with." And I was in a terraplane that my dad had. For some reason, my Plymouth wasn't working. And so we sort of hung around there and kept our eye on these, and her sister was with her. In fact, there were 3 girls in her family, and her dad had brought all 3 of these girls to church that night. And her youngest baby sister, some young fellow went over and made a date with her, and they took off. So in just a few minutes, Thelma and her sister Lois went around the church and met her dad, and went around and got in their car, and John took me and he said, "Let's go get in our car and watch which way they go and let's follow them." So we jumped in his terraplane I had, and they started pulling out, we pulled out, and we got way out in the sticks, way out in the country over in New Danville. We didn't have no idea where we were going. They had a great big long lane, and we went down this long lane, followed them, and about partway home I found out later these girls looked around and they said, "Hey, there's some guys following us." and so we pulled in, her dad pulled in the garage, and the girls got out. And so we talked with them just a few minutes, and Thelma got in front with me, and John got, her sister Lois got in back with John, and we went for a drive. And that's how we got to know each other. But, and might talk about,
Yeah, tell them how hard you had adjusting to me, because you just couldn't.
And this big old house had 10 rooms in it. And in the South, they didn't have furnaces in their houses. It had 10 fireplaces, a fireplace in every room. And as several of the children, I've forgotten how many we had by that time, but you went in the front door, and it had a 5-foot wide hall, and the hall went clear through and out the back door. And we felt it was time that we needed a couple rooms larger. And so we had talked, and I'm the type of person that I don't like to do anything until I talk about it and think about it and plan it and feel I got it pretty well under control before I start it. And so she says, I can get something done while you're thinking about it. And so anyway, we talked about taking one of these petitions out of one of these rooms, and that would put the hall into the room. And so, I don't know, over a period of several months, we talked about it, and finally one day I came home from work, and I saw a mess of scrap stuff laying out in the yard. And I walked in the house, and here was the wall torn out with 2 2x4s standing there in the middle. And I thought, oh, it's a big 2-story house. And I thought, oh, the house is going to fall in. And lo and behold, the first thing I did was got a ladder and climbed up in the attic, and it happened that the supporting beams were not over that section that she took out. Because I thought sure the house was going to cave in.
If the house would have fallen down, that would have really been the end.
But that's some of our experience we had.
Okay. Suetta, speak for your family.
Too much
What did you back into? I can't even remember. Well, we were driving around, we were going to meet with another couple, and while we were driving around, we went out one road, turned right, and over at the light was on. What do you do then? In the dark, you know? Well,
They were in the dark.
I turned too quick because they know the color. I didn't get anything.
We waited until we were married about 20 years because we were honeymoon. Went to the bar.
How many years? It's about time for your second one, then, isn't it?
Well, they're going to have their 50th next year, right?
Next year. Next May.
Next celebrating,
June. We're not going to celebrate? When are you going to celebrate?
I'm not planning on any celebration.
She's way to her 100.
Oh, come on, tell those kids you've made it for 50 years. They ought to do something. Okay.
I'm just not as big a
Yes, all that.
Put a $5 can in the trunk. Pick up the gas line and $5 can. That's the way to do it. You do about $5 a day, you can win that.
Okay, Martha. You tell us whatever you choose about the Eshelman family. The Eshelman family, not the in-laws.
I don't have a rebuttal because I didn't have the other side of it right now. But anyway, I guess, I know what I was remembering though. You remember the time that Fled and I went on a date with Morris and we were sitting in the back seat? And you didn't know we were back there. I don't know why. I remember.
You crawled down there.
Did we do it on, I don't think we did it on purpose.
Oh, yes, you did. You did.
We would have done that too. The way I remember it was, you said, don't sit on my Bible back there, and you didn't know anybody was back there.
And I said, well, I said, where is your Bible? And he said, on the back seat. I said, well, how could I sit on it? That made you laugh. And then I knew you two kids were back there.
And we were working so hard to keep them laughing. Oh, dear. You know how we giggle when
Isn't that funny? I don't remember the mean part of it.
Anyway, I guess what I'll do is like, I remember Selma for her scrapbook. You know, I have how many scrapbooks?
books that you've done, and you did one like a couple years ago. And at first I thought it was a Christmas present, now when I looked at it, I realized it was for my birthday.
Even if it did come Christmas. It came at Christmas
It
time.
came, yeah, Bonnie gave it to me, remember, at the house, and I thought it was a Christmas present from you all. And then I looked at it, and I thought, I think this is really meant to be a birthday.
Yeah. Well, your birthday is December the 7th.
I know. David, I remember going over with your Guernsey cow. Now, what kind of cow do you have? Jersey. Kind of gold colored or something like that. I just remember being fascinated going over after Slutty got married. They were gold. Yeah, they were gold. And aren't Jersey cows
Yellow, white.
whatever. Cow. You know, I remember there's a different shade of gold than the other one. Oh, there's a different shade of gold. Where's your little brownies? Oh, I learned that. I stayed up here just making all this. We had Holstein cows when I was a kid. I know about those things. Yeah. And Ada, if you think Ethel was a workaholic, you should see David. He was always working. I mean, cows and chickens and pigs and now Case, not Case, what is it?
It is international.
Case International. Well, don't go see their places. It's full, the whole farm is full of implements now. You know, and he's still working. You know, so I don't, you know, I don't retire. That's why anything over here. Couldn't take a honeymoon for 20 years. That's right. 20 years. And I remember her, for she always got open arms.
God, what I'm thankful for. We have
And Harvey, he's not here to defend himself, but that's my older sister. But I remember him when they were first married. He was always on young people's program speaking. You remember when he used to do that? And I used to think, well, I'm young. I kind of like to hear you speak sometime. I don't remember. Do you remember hearing Harvey? But he was always too busy, you know. But as he got older, I finally learned to know Harvey. Really, it took a long time. Because he was always running around speaking to young people. And there was a joke. And I'd say, what are your old dogs? Oh, I know how to tell you what I did to Dot one time. When I was trying to be nice and, you know, Dot was John's girlfriend, and the last name was Drybread. And really was. I mean, that is her name. Did you know that?
No, I
Her
didn't.
name was Drybread. She was never adopted, but she was a foster child of the Martin family. But anyhow,
And their name was Dry Bread?
No, their name was Martin.
And she wasn't adopted, and her name was
But she
Dry
wasn't
Bread.
really adopted, but she was really raised by them.
But her name was Dry Bread?
Yeah. For real. For real. That was her real name. Dorothy Drybread. That's how she signed her name.
Oh.
But anyway, one time, she happened to be at the house, and I was trying to be nice, and I was a little nervous, I guess. And I was putting bread out for sandwiches or something. I was explaining why we stored it the way that we did. And I said, because we hate dry bread. And after it came out, I realized, you know, what I was just trying to explain why we stored the bread the way we did. You know, so it didn't get dry. All of a sudden, the song went, oh, my man, her name is Dry Bread.
We love you, Mike. Now it's time to start on the grandchildren.
Can I get just back to my mind and experience? You know, what we're sharing is sort of helping us to know each other. In my growing up days, I don't know why, but I was always getting in trouble with my sisters.
Well, you cut off my eyebrow one time. Let me tell you something else.
Okay, brother, this is good night.
He stood up church, you know, and he was the guy, and we were the girls, and we had to behave. He preached and singing, and we were sitting there like,
Christians, good Mennonites. And
What's
so
wrong
when
with that?
before Sawetta joined the church, and back in those days, the girls, as they got up close to time to join the church, then they let their hair grow longer so they could have a bob. And Sawetta didn't have her hair quite that long yet, and to have a bob. And I don't know, we apparently were talking about it or something, so I went out and gathered a whole bunch of thistles. And I took water and sprinkled over them, made them damp, and made a nice bob.
Burdock, wasn't it?
Burdock.
Yeah.
What bird? It was
Burdock.
Oh, burdock.
Burdock.
Okay, to me they were thistles. So anyway, I went over to Sawetta and I said, "Now you got a bob." And I set it on top of her head, and my mother, she tried to pull it off, and it was fast in her hair.